African youth, leading the charge of revolution. Africa is changing. Not tomorrow, not in the distant future, but right now. And at the heart of this transformation is not the old guard, not the aging politicians, not the tired elites, it's the youth. Nearly 70% of Africa's population is under the age of 30. That's not just a number. That's a tidal wave of energy, anger, creativity, and hope. African youth are not waiting for permission. They are not waiting for broken systems to fix themselves. They are not waiting for old powers, whether foreign or local, to step aside. They are taking charge. They are carrying the banner of revolution across the continent. From the streets of Burkina Faso to the music studios of Senegal, from the digital hubs of Kenya to the protest squares of Sudan, this generation is writing a new story. A story of resistance, a story of reclamation, and above all a story of rebirth. So let's dive into the movement shaking Africa to its core, the youth-led revolution that is changing everything. To understand why this revolution matters, we have to understand the weight young Africans carry on their shoulders. For centuries, Africa was carved up, exploited, and drained by outsiders. Colonization didn't just steal land, it stole futures. Then came independence in the mid-20th century, a moment of hope. But what followed was often betrayal. Corrupt elites rose to power. Foreign corporations still controlled resources. Western powers and new global players continued to manipulate governments through debt, trade deals, and military influence. For many Africans, independence felt incomplete. The chains were invisible, but they were still there. And for decades, young people were told, "Be patient, wait your turn, the system will eventually work for you." But here's the reality, the system never worked for them. Unemployment stayed high. Education was underfunded. Entire economies remained dependent on exporting raw materials while importing finished goods. And corruption swallowed opportunities whole. That's why today's African youth are different. They've seen enough lies. They've inherited broken promises. And they are saying, enough is enough. Revolution doesn't start in silence. It starts with sparks. And in Africa, those sparks are everywhere. In Burkina Faso, young soldiers and students alike rallied behind Captain Ibrahim Traoré, rejecting French domination and demanding true sovereignty. They didn't want to be pawns in someone else's game, they wanted to take ownership of their nation's future. In Senegal, youth flooded the streets against corruption and injustice, fueled by music, poetry, and the rallying cry of dignity. Hip-hop became more than music, it became a weapon of truth. In Sudan, it was the youth women at the front lines who toppled a dictator after 30 years in power. They braved bullets, batons, and internet blackouts. They faced down an entire military machine armed with nothing but chance, courage, and cell phones. In Congo, youth movements are challenging foreign mining companies that exploit resources like cobalt, gold, and coltan minerals essential for the global tech economy. They are asking the hard question, why is Africa rich in resources but poor in reality? Who benefits from our suffering? Everywhere you look, young Africans are no longer content to be victims. They are rising as leaders. And they are reshaping politics, culture, and technology to reflect their vision, not someone else's. Politics in Africa has long been dominated by aging elites, many clinging to power well into their 70s and 80s. But young Africans are rewriting the rules. They are demanding sovereignty, not dependency. They are exposing corruption and pushing for transparency. They are organizing grassroots movements that reject old political structures in favor of community-led governance. In places like Nigeria, the #EndSARS movement wasn't just about police brutality, it was about young people saying they will no longer accept a government that treats them as expendable. In Burkina Faso, the youth didn't wait decades for slow reforms, they embraced revolutionary change, removing leaders who failed them. And across the continent, new parties, youth-led coalitions, and activist networks are rising. They don't just want to participate in politics, they want to transform it. This is not resistance for resistance' sake. It's a demand for a new social contract, one built on sovereignty, dignity, and a future that actually belongs to the young. Revolution isn't only fought in parliaments or on the streets. It's also fought in studios, on stages, and across social media timelines. African youth are wielding music, art, and digital tools as revolutionary weapons. Hip-hop, Afrobeats, and spoken word poetry are fueling political consciousness. Social media platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and WhatsApp are being used to organize protests, expose corruption, and share uncensored truths. Think of movements like YN Amar in Senegal, musicians who transformed into activists. Think of how Nigerian youth used hashtags to draw global attention to their struggles. Think of how Sudanese women used viral images to embody courage in the face of dictatorship. Culture is not entertainment, it's mobilization. It's consciousness. It's revolution disguised as rhythm and rhyme. The world may see Africa's youth as dancers, singers, or influencers. But behind every beat, behind every lyric, behind every viral video is a deeper message: we will not be silenced. But revolution is not only about protest, it's also about creation. And here, African youth are leading in ways the world often overlooks. From Nairobi's Silicon Savannah to Lagos's booming tech scene, African youth are building apps, startups, and digital platforms that solve local problems with global potential. They're creating fintech to give banking access to the unbanked. They're building renewable energy solutions for communities left in the dark. They're coding, designing, and innovating in ways that don't just copy the West but invent for Africa's unique realities. This is not charity work. This is not aid. This is youth-driven innovation that proves Africa is not waiting for handouts, it's building its own future. But let's not forget the streets remain the raw front lines of revolution. Across Africa, young people are risking everything to confront military regimes, foreign exploitation, and failing economies. They face tear gas, bullets, and imprisonment. Many have died for the cause of freedom. Yet they keep coming back. Why? Because they know the stakes. They know that without their struggle, the future will look exactly like the past. And they refuse to inherit a broken system. Every march, every sit-in, every viral hashtag is part of a larger declaration: Africa belongs to its people, not to foreign powers, corrupt leaders, or exploitative systems. This is more than rebellion. This is a renaissance. A rebirth. The youth of Africa are not just tearing down old structures, they're building new ones. They are not just resisting, they are creating. They are not just reacting, they are leading. They believe Africa's future will be determined not by outsiders, not by the so-called international community, not by aging elites, but by the bold and restless energy of its youngest generation. And this is what terrifies the world. Because if African youth succeed, the entire global order will shift. No longer will Africa be seen as a continent of poverty and crisis. It will be seen as the superpower it truly is, the beating heart of the 21st century. Please like and subscribe to support this channel. So here's the truth: the revolution is already happening. It's not in the future, it's here. African youth are already leading the charge. The only question left is this: will the world be ready when Africa's new generation takes full power? Because one thing is certain, nothing can stop them now.